Hi, this is Tom Scherberger, former host of WMNF's Wavemakers. I hope you'll join me for the launch of a new in-person speaker series called Wavemakers Live. I'll be your host for lively conversations with people making a difference around Florida and Tampa Bay. We kick things off August 21st with WMNF's own Nadine Smith. You know Nadine as the host of the Wide Awake America Public Affairs Show, but she's also the co-founder of Equality Florida, where she's been fighting for equal rights for 30 years and was one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. We'll talk about how the right-wing agenda nationally has its roots in Florida and how Florida can provide a blueprint for resistance. Join us on August 21st at 7:30 p.m. at the Commodore in Ybor City. Tickets are $10 in advance and $15 at the door. Doors open at 7. Space is limited, so buy your tickets now on WMNF.org.
Hey there, it's Wade. If you have an extra car but no time to sell it, you could just donate it to support WMNF. Learn more at WMNF.org or call 888-WMNF-885.
This is Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. I'm your host, Ken Apperson. On this 4th of July in the year 2025, I thought it'd be nice to share an older episode with you guys from 2022. You can hear previous episodes just like this one at WMNF.org. Just search Live Music Showcase. You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. I'm your host, Ken Apperson. This week, we have singer, songwriter, troubadour Matt Woods here on the show. He's going to share a couple of songs with us. We're going to talk a little bit about life on the road, what it's like growing up with a Southern accent, right. Coming by it honestly, if I do say so myself, if I can. And we're going to dig into a little bit of songwriter world because honestly, you know, I say this all the time on the show. Maybe I say it too much. I don't know. If you're listening right now, feel free to call in and tell me that I say this too much. But I love to dig into how every different songwriter's process works. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, at the end of the day, everyone goes about it differently. And there's clearly so many different methods to reach a successful point and however you decide to define success for yourself. But Matt, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm like amped up. I'm just ready to dive right in.
It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. He's got a songwriter series going on at Hooch and Hive all month this month.
That's right.
So he's coming in, he's playing some music, and he's also bringing in some guest performers. He's got one of those gentlemen here today. Adam Lee is here.
How you doing?
How you doing, man? I love that bass.
Great.
How are you doing? I can't do it. It's awesome. I'm going to try not to impersonate you every chance I get.
No, please
today.
do. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I'll do my best. So anyway, we're going to keep moving forward. Was that low enough for you? Oh, does awesome. That feel, that's baby? Fantastic. No.
I love it.
This is where I get to have too much fun with the show.
This is a midday show. Hold on. Pump the brakes.
That's right. Exactly. So before I dive into anything else, I'd love to hear your first song today.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. Songs. Let's here's a new one. We'll start with the little fun number. Baby, let's break this town wide open, taking everything she's got. Hit the highway rolling, for the heat it gets too hot. Be long gone by morning, 1,000 miles away. When the sun goes down tomorrow on the lost side of L.A. I had a dream one night in the middle of July. There were wildfires burning, we were smoking down the 405. I'd be your getaway driver, be my shotgun chain. And all that's lost in this mean old world, this much will never change. I don't know where we're going, baby. Each town looks the same. It don't matter much, you here by my side. Gonna make our getaway tonight. I started stealing kisses by the time I turned 13. I had a heart or two at 21. That punk rock dropout scene. But I never did get busted. I always made out clean, 'cause I never did steal nothing I ever meant to keep. Well, I saw you looking for a way out of that bar. I knew I could steal your love as fast his car. I'll be your getaway driver. You can be my shotgun chain. And all it's lost in this mean old world. This much will never change. I don't know where we're going, baby, and each town looks the same. It don't matter much for you here by my side. Gonna make our getaway tonight. Oh, no one would believe me. I knew before we met we'd lock eyes once. That would be the only shot I'd get. California's sinking, baby. Hollywood's all lies. This whole wide world is yours and mine. The minute you realize I'll be your getaway driver. You can be my shotgun chain. And all that's lost in this mean old world, this much will never change. I don't know where we're going, babe. Each town looks the same. It don't matter much for you here by my side. Gonna make our getaway tonight. Gonna make our getaway tonight.
You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5. We are live in studio here with Mr. Matt Woods. That's a killer song, man. You play a mean steel toe, too. That's not bad. I like that a lot. That's good. No, I mean, that's the thing, you know, that there's an authenticity to it. And forgive me if this sounds like I'm putting you under a microscope for a minute, but the reality is, like, there is this kind of music and this kind of songwriting, it has to be authentic. You know, it can't be contrived and be and still have the same effect, you know, and it really comes through with you. So I just want to say that, like, everything you've got going on, I love the way that you strum that thing like it's a freight train, and you lean into everything. Yeah. You know, I can't wait for people to actually, like, see this footage too. You know, we're shooting absolutely all kinds of video for this episode as well. So if you're listening right now, feel free to go and check out our social media. Instagram, it's at live_music_showcase, and on Facebook, it's WMNF's Live Music Showcase. So feel free to follow us on both of those places. You'll find all of the content that we're shooting right now from this episode. So let's dig into just a little bit, and I always like to keep things moving. You know, we don't want to dive in too terribly deep, but that authenticity, that songwriting. So you're from Knoxville, correct?
I am. Right. Yeah. Just outside of there, but yeah.
One of the letter name highways.
East Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
The most beautiful part of the state.
There it is. Absolutely. So what was it like growing up there? And how did that influence the way that you write music and the way that you've written music?
You know, coming to that, like where I grew up is very rural. You know, it's 15 to 20 minutes to the nearest tiny town, you know, to get some gasoline or some, you know, groceries or whatever. So, I mean, stereotypical or not, like there was a lot of country music growing up. My dad would come home from work and play like classic country records, or what's classic country now. It was just country then, you know what I mean? It was Merle Haggard records and the like. So there was that mixed with Baptist church. So
that's a recipe right there. There it is.
So there's that. But I mean, by the time I was in my early teens, it was all kind of like, oh, there's this whole world of rock and roll happening. And it was like, what's going on in the heavy metal scene, you know? And there was that, and a lot of the kids, or at least a lot of the kids I was running around with back in those days, was kind of were all kind of into that. So you know, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, and mix it together, and that's what happened. I mean, I was trying to write songs as a teenager, having no real intention of doing this with my life. It was just a thing that I was into, you know.
Interesting.
You're right. And you know, those are in a notebook somewhere, probably in my parents' basement. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, okay, so that's a really cool I guess we'd call it an origin story, you know, if you were a superhero. I don't know if you are. Do you fight crime at night? Do you
Absolutely.
Do that? Absolutely. Okay, good. Thank God.
Only particular crimes. Only kind of like minor robberies, like convenience store robberies under $45.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's reasonable. Anything that can't be settled outside of civil court. That's right. That's great. That's great.
I don't want to get involved in some
nice niche for crime fighting. That's
just
perfect.
Just a little something to entertain myself.
There it is. Absolutely, that's good. I love it. So, that's great. So when it comes to thinking about, like, you mentioned like metal and you mentioned like a few other like types of music. When you're a kid, we all kind of go through phases of like trying different things and whatnot. Yeah. And sometimes those phases are formative and they end up carving a path for us.
Sure.
Clearly, you've carved a path in that singer-songwriter, country music, Americana, a little bit of folk somewhere in there too.
Yeah,
some of your songs.
I would like to think there's a little bit of all of it comes through. Like some records lean a little further into like the country music world, and some lean a little further into the rock and roll world. I mean, I haven't made a punk rock record yet, but it's not out of the question.
I love that.
Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. You
do the Hank Free
but
thing.
It's all kind of in there. Oh,
do that? Go way off the deep end. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's all right. All right. So before we dive into anything else, I'd love to hear another song. And Adam, I definitely want to get to know you a little bit as well. Being that you had that show at where was that show at? The one that's
the theater show.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hooch and Hive show?
It is the Hooch and Hive, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. But yeah, I would love to get to know you a little bit as well. So let's hear another song, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From me.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
From you, from both of you?
Sure.
Either way, whatever you guys feel like.
Go for it.
All right. I just got out of the studio working on a new record. So let's play some more new stuff, all right? I imagine you're out somewhere telling stories. I hope you have them all laid low tonight. I wish you hadn't had to leave the party. I hate how you're now always out of sight. What's that one you told about Savannah? Was it somewhere further up the coast? Thinking back, it's getting harder to remember. And that's the part that breaks my heart the most. Well, there's a pounding on the pulpit, wailing in the pews. The only time I felt the Holy Spirit was hiding in the back row with you. The truth is we were hardly more than children. Today I'm feeling all the years in spades. And who'd have thought that night in Winston-Salem there'd be money on the table, cards unplayed. I'm looking at these mountains from the valley. I hunkered down tonight in Tennessee. And there ain't one damn thing I can do about it. There's no ace of hearts hiding up my sleeve. There's pounding on the pulpit, wailing in the pews.
Holy Spirit. Was hiding in the back row with you. Take off snakes, but put your suit and tie on straight. They'll never hear the word from a man who's wearing jeans. Revival ain't as easy as it seems. There's pounding on the pulpit, wailing in the pews. And the only time I felt the Holy Spirit was hiding in the back row with you. Was hiding in the back row with you.
You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. We are in studio with Matt Woods and Adam Lee. So there's obviously some religious mentions in that last song there.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot of, that's the Southern Baptist content, I guess we could say, for lack of a better word. I mean, obviously that was formative in some way.
Surely.
You know, you grew up, I would imagine, did you grow up in the church as a child?
I did indeed. My mother played piano. My father was a deacon.
Okay.
You know, growing up.
And do you find yourself in church on Sundays these days?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, so that particular journey is always very interesting to me. Because everybody's experience with religion, especially musicians, God, like religion and the church and the the church band, man, they do a real good job of churning out some good musicians here and there.
Oh, sure.
And you can always kind of hear that influence, no matter what genre it is, really.
Right.
You're not in there now,
Right.
and do you find yourself conflicted about talking about the church and your music, singing about the church and your music, especially if you still have family that's in it? Does that ever create friction at home, or your parents, for example?
No, I mean, I would say that my relationship with my parents is atypical in regards to this sort of like what one might expect of a relationship with parents, you know, in rural East Tennessee.
Okay.
You know, my parents are both quite progressive, given their age and background. You know, and still holding that faith, but a little less active.
Okay.
Than they once were, than they were in my childhood, you know. So they kind of support what I'm doing and support me regardless, which is great. Like I don't find myself fighting with my parents at the Thanksgiving table or anything like that. You know, that's
great.
You know, I'm sure my mother worries. You know, like that's. I mean, I have no doubts about that. That's you know, I know my mother worries, but yeah, they're yeah. So it's not really a conflict for me. I just I feel compelled to just be who I am, and I'm thankful that they embrace that.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's an important thing.
Yeah, I think I feel like I'm particularly fortunate because I have so many friends who don't have that shared experience, who are very much at odds, whether it be in regards to religion or politics or whatever, with their parents and immediate family, and that's not a thing that I really struggle with, and I'm thankful to not have to struggle with it.
Yeah. And not to put you on the psychology couch too much, but I have to ask, in that case, do you think that who you are and who you grew up to be had an effect on your parents and how they feel about what you do and how you are now in a positive way?
I think so. I think so. I told you about being in my early teens and finding like heavy metal music and
right, exactly.
whatever. So I went to kindergarten through 5th grade was a small schoolhouse 2 miles from my house. Like my class for those 6 years consisted of maybe 30 children at the most, and I know, and my mother was an educator. She was a high school teacher in a different town. I didn't go to that same high school, but I know that she had concerns when I moved to the big school, you know what I mean, which is still a very, very tiny town.
Sure.
And I was the oldest, so I made that transition, and I made new friends, and I found heavy metal, and I wanted to grow my hair long, and she was worried, This is in the height of the, satanic panic in the late 80s or the 90s, right? So there was a lot of concern, but I would like to think by my introducing my mother, who was also working in the same environment, right? I would like to think that she was able to have a better understanding of her students through getting to know my friends. Like I would bring friends over who, would look like trouble. She's like, oh, these kids are, hoodlums, or she was worried. My mother was worried I was on drugs long before I ever tried them. You know what I mean? And so, I think kind of showing her a different side of people and of life, and I think this is carried out through adulthood too with my travels, and I've traveled some now with my parents as they've gotten older, both in the States and abroad, and I would like to think that it's been a beneficial or educational or somehow
positive
experience, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
That's great. That's such a kind of a fairy tale, not ending because your story's still continuing, but like absolutely. As far as like navigating that, in your adolescence and coming up and growing up and still.
I think it often doesn't go as well.
I think you're right.
It isn't lost on me that it's a fortunate circumstance.
And you know what? I really appreciate you being so candid about that, because at the end of the day, when you are a Cinderella story or a fairy tale story, that part of your life is. When you share it with people, I think you get to set that example for other people as well. Right. Because who knows? Maybe someone listening right now, has a kid who is the age that you were when you were going through that time, and maybe you just gave them a reason to not be so hard on that kid.
Yeah.
Because growing up, us musicians, we some of us took a lot of inspiration from the way our parents treated us, and it's nice to hear that you have such a positive,
and it sticks. That's the thing that nobody thinks about. You whatever positive or negative experiences a person might go through in their teenage years or early 20s or whatever it is. I think to some extent there's kind of like, oh, well, this will pass. This is happening.
It's just
now.
a moment.
But I find myself now at 45 years old and not feeling very different than I did at 18 years old. Like it's bizarre how much, or how little rather, I feel like I've changed as a person. Though so all that sticks. Like I have very profound memories that inform who I am from those years to this day.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, now Mr. Adam Lee over here, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great.
Man, I love that voice. Can you just talk to me so I go to sleep every night?
Yeah, we should put together an app or something.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. We'll just take this recording, Mark.
Sleep app, you know. You can probably just loop this.
That's perfect, yeah.
Let me just read a book or something.
Good night, Moon. No. So you're a songwriter as well. You're part of this music series that Matt is doing at Hooch and Hive.
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear a tune by you if you have it in the have it loaded up in the can in there.
Yeah, let's see what we can do here. I'll try to remember one. We've been off work for 2 years. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, I hear. Believe me.
And I am lit north of nothing. Roses are in bloom. But I'm dropping out, checking in. Another motel room. Crack open, get his Bible. Keep away the gold. It's nights like this and rooms like these. The devil seems so close. Well, I hit the road at 20, and the highway taught me well. I learned to make some money. I learned what lies to tell. I learned what kind of pills you take, and if that weren't enough, I learned just how you kiss a girl and never fall in love. Marry me to a fair and fleeting stranger with a heart of gold and a pocketbook to match. Carry me on the wild winds of danger. I'm moving on, never looking back. Ain't all the roses black. I've learned to sleep most anywhere. I've learned to lie awake. I've learned the booze ain't only for the times you celebrate. I've learned there's sinners everywhere. The saints ain't hard to find. I used to pour the things I need to push you from my mind. Marry me to a fair and fleeting stranger with a heart of gold and a pocketbook to match. Carry me on the wild wind of danger. I'm moving on, never looking back. Paint all the roses black. Paint all the roses black. To a fair and fleeting stranger with a heart of gold and a pocketbook to match. Carry me on the wild, wild winds of danger. I'm moving on, never looking back. Lord, I'm moving on, never looking back. Paint all the roses black. Paint all the roses black. Paint all the roses black. Paint all the roses.
live music showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. How do you feel about that song? Adam?
I mean, I'm considering the question. I mean, I feel pretty good about it. I was pretty happy when I got that one file, when I finally wrangled that one. When I finally
wrestled it into submission.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it sometimes.
Is that how it was with that one?
Seriously, absolutely.
That's a great song.
Most of them are that way for me.
That's a great song.
Thank you for saying so.
And your execution of it is haunting.
Haunting's good. I like that.
In this case, it's good. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were an old rickety house. No, not good. But really, that's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, well, happy to be here.
Yeah. So, how do you guys know each other? How long have you guys been, doing the thing?
Too long, I think.
Yeah, too long. Time to call it quits.
I think we met
on
the
last performance.
Yeah, this is. We're going to break up on stage like the Eagles.
There it is. We never broke up. We just took a 14-year vacation.
Exactly.
Hell freezes over, 1992. Anyway,
right there, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
We met on the road, or I guess you might have been home. But I remember meeting you.
I was home. You were on the road.
Yeah, I was out with another buddy of ours, Pete Stein, another Florida guy.
Pete Stein from Lake Worth.
Yeah, I was playing drums and opening some of those shows on his tour, and he knew Matt. And, we played a show at a bar. I don't know if you played that show or not. We played, certainly, and we stayed at your house.
Stayed at the house. I don't remember if I played or not. I remember...
Was it that kind of night?
That it was.
Yeah. I've actually got a photo. This is amazing.
Most of those nights.
I never take photos. I don't preserve anything. I'm really bad on social media or whatever. But I do. For some reason, I had the presence of mind this night. Everyone else went to bed, and he and I just stayed up and talked about songs and music and just the rest of it. And I was like, I think we're going to get on. Me and this guy, and I do have a photo of that night.
I know
that somebody took. That it was the night of our meeting.
I don't. Here's the thing about that photo. I can picture it now. I can picture it's the front porch in that swing.
Sure.
What I don't know and can't recall is who took the photo.
Yeah, maybe a ghost.
But that's accurate. I don't think I played that show. I don't. Pete Stein was living with me for a while. I don't know if he was living with me at that point.
I don't believe so. Yeah, but we came and stayed with you. Yeah,
but that's how we met. Pete was on tour and had met you. You were living in Kansas City, and you came there, and it was obvious we were fast friends. We have the same habits and the same, kind of disposition.
We like the same restaurants, really. That's a big thing. If you're going to go on tour with somebody, you have to, get along with what you like to eat.
That's right.
And I think we have that in common.
Yeah.
So, speaking of, crashing on couches and speaking of, not fully remembering nights and things like that, tell me about the lifestyle of the traveling songwriter, troubadour. What's that like for you guys? What's that experience like? Is it everything they talk about in Almost Famous or in those movies that they glamorize it? Or
Almost Famous, they were on a bus.
Well, that's true.
Well, they were on a plane at one point.
Then they were on a plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We did fly in today to do this.
Oh, okay.
So, it's pretty good. No, of course. I mean, of course, those. I believe. I mean, those sort of stereotypes or whatever exist for a reason. And that's. Yeah. I'll say this. That's there if you want it, and all of us,
right,
went through our teenage years and 20s. I mean, that's there if you want it. You can be debauched and you're leaving town the next day and nothing matters, and
right,
might as well break some laws, but.
Laws and hearts.
But you don't. Well,
but also, I don't know. These days, we just, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, let's do a left hand check. Left hand check. Let's see him. Let's see him, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no rings.
No rings.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay. Ladies, do you hear that?
It's
Matt Wood's songwriter series, Hooch and Hives.
Safe to say, these days are more calm. Than past days.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of being on the road these days is like yelping good local food and finding a place to hike on all trails. It's kind of like what we do a lot.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you spend so much time driving still, you know what I mean? And it's like
it's a lot of sitting.
Gotta get those knees moving.
And hiking. I mean, you've been really into it over these last few years.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's good for your brain as much as your body. Do you know what I mean? I think it's meditative, and that's the thing we try to do. We're just try not to sit in a bar room for 7 hours a day, which is like what you can do doing this, just waiting to go on. You know what I mean? So I think we both try to get out of that.
Yeah.
and see a little more of the city and see
I've
a little
logged a
more
lot
nature.
of bar room hours.
Yeah.
You've probably maxed them out.
I've logged a
Now
lot.
you're
of
in
it,
shape.
as have you.
I
know.
mean.
But yeah, the getting out hiking, getting out in the fresh air.
Do you think
is worthwhile?
Do you think doing
absolutely.
so to any of the younger musicians out there that are thinking about embarking on touring? You think that's a good way for them to maintain their sanity? Get out of the bar room and go. Hiking?
I would
forget
say
it.
go back to school and get a job.
Do something else.
Just give up.
Don't be
now.
a musician.
Yeah.
We need more lawyers. No, we don't. We don't need more.
We don't need more lawyers.
We're good. We're good on that.
Go back to school.
No, absolutely.
Get a job. Pay the bills. Rent is going up.
Yeah, especially in the Tampa Bay area, it's insane.
So you could
Anyone
just go on
listening-
tour forever. That is an option.
and
It's
never
still an option.
and never pay rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
There's
real
that.
estate loophole.
Yeah.
You never pay rent. You never live anywhere.
Yeah. All you have to be good at is sleeping in cat hair.
Sleeping in cat hair.
Yeah,
Is that a secret of the road?
I don't know if the listeners, if the WMNF listeners are familiar with Adam Fawcett from Arkansas, from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
I knew Adam. I knew Adam Fawcett on the internet long before we ever met. We ended up on a co-bill in Albuquerque. Complete chance, right? And at the end of the night, we were sort of commiserating, and it was a good night, right? There's nothing to be upset about, but we're just at the end of the bar, both of us at the time in our 30s, and talking about kind of like, well, this is what we do, and this is what we do. You do this for long enough, it becomes who you are, it becomes what you do, and Adam had. Adam said this thing that's stuck with me ever since. He's like, man, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I've only got 2 skills, man. He's like, I only have 2 skills, and the first one is being able to sleep in cat hair. So there's that.
The image of that, the imagery of such a thought is an interesting one. It feels a little bit like an acid trip, to be honest, at a certain point in the bell curve of that trip. But I digress. So, first of all, I'd love to hear some more music from you guys.
Absolutely.
And then your accents. I want to talk about accents a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking a little bit before the show about accents. I want to talk a little bit about that because I think you said something really poignant that I want the listeners to hear. But let's hear a song first, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah.
You guys pick whatever you want to do.
You want to do one together?
Whatever you like, bud.
Let's do this. We're rolling down the religious road.
I believe they call that the Bible Belt.
Right there.
Do you think there'll be cold beers in heaven on tap all day long? With a band in the corner playing my favorite song. I've heard stories about Jesus and wine. I know that it's true. If there's no beer in heaven, there's only one thing to do. That's turn back around. I'm coming back down, leaving my soul in Milwaukee. It's a hell of a town. Streets might not be gold, and that golden roof flows. If there's no beer in heaven, hell, I don't wanna go. He's done a great job. All that healing and saving
You know his work must be hard. Through hereafter I can't go. Trying that much is true. If there's no beer in heaven, there's only one thing to do. That's turn back around. I'm coming back down, leaving my soul in Milwaukee. It's a hell of a town. Streets might not be gold, not golden roof floors. If there's no beer in heaven, hell, I don't wanna go. Let's turn back around. I'm coming back down, leaving my soul in Milwaukee.
Best.
It's a hell of a town. Streets are made with gold, that golden roof floors. If there's no beer in heaven, hell, I don't wanna go. If there's no beer in heaven, hell, I don't wanna go. If there's no beer in heaven, hell, I don't wanna go.
You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. Man, oh man, that sounds like a classic, right?
That's a fun one, right?
That's great.
Matt Wood's classic.
My mama don't love it.
So when she heard that, did she do the mom thing and go, well, it's
Listen,
it's all right.
She heard that song. I put that song out on a little bonus EP.
Yeah.
In 2011, when I was releasing my first studio record under my name, like post rock and roll bands and what.
Sure.
And I put that out, and it was out in the world. People had it, right? And I was embarking on a album release tour with Larry Fulford, the drummer from Orlando. It was a 2-man show.
Yeah.
We were heading out in my Mazda hatchback, and drums and
nice.
merch, guitars and PA and all that kind of business. And we kicked off the tour in Knoxville, Tennessee, on Market Square, right downtown, as part of the International Biscuit Festival. Right?
All right.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It is delicious.
I'm in. Let's go.
Right. So it's a midday show, so my parents came out, and they came out and they watched the show, and they were talking to us as we were heading out, because we were leaving immediately, like after the show, hitting the road, driving wherever we were going. And so they came out and they were wishing us well on the tour. And my mom, she stands about shoulder high. She comes up, she says, well, yeah, I want you boys to be careful out there. Have a good tour. Just so you know, I heard that No Beer in Heaven song. And I said, well, Mom, I recorded it. I figured you would. And she's like, well, you don't mean it. I said, well, you have to admit it. It's,
of course.
It's got a snappy. It's a snappy tune.
It's very
She's
snappy.
like, oh yeah, I've been singing it all day.
No. There you go, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So I love your version, your impression of your mom too. It's
Yeah.
great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So the accent is very real there.
It is for sure.
You clearly have one too. You come by it honestly as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said something before the show that was really, really poignant. A little glance behind the curtain for those listening right here. But yes, the world does exist outside of this show. Before we start, we always get to sit down and kind of get to know each other. Me and Matt meeting each other today for the first time,
right.
And Adam as well. And we were talking about accents and coming by them, honestly, and all that stuff. And I was telling you about my roots over there in Missouri and Missouri. That's right. Missouri. Exactly. Yep. And I do have moments in my life where my accent does come out here and there from my experiences. And I enjoy them when they come out in those moments. But you said something really great about how when you talk about certain things, you think that it's important for people to hear that accent. Right. So tell me a little bit about that again.
Well, I mean, it's as simple as that. I think, we were talking before the show, and like I said, and many people do try to shake an accent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe that's just part of being a teenager. Maybe it's part of like whatever, like you trying to break loose of a thing that that you grew up in or whatever. And I did the same. I went to university and tried to shake an accent and can. But the older I get, the more I believe it's important not to do so, not to shake the accent, to keep it, and particularly if you're saying something that is counter to the stereotype. But the reason I have this Southern accent, so if I'm talking about anti-racism or, equity for all human beings, I think it's very important to say that with a Southern accent because, in film and every other kind of like the stereotype exists, every bad guy. You set a movie in Northern California and the bad guy's going to have a Southern accent. He's going to be the dude with the Confederate flag and the Southern accent in Eureka, California, because and I think it's important to like try to tear that down and be like, no, like this accent it does not equate to ignorance.
It's amazing how something like an accent can break down or perpetuate a stereotype based on the behavior coming from the person with the accent. So at the end of the day, sure, there's stereotypes and there's all kinds of stereotypes for all kinds of different accents that come with them. And you hear that accent, you often think right off the bat a certain thing about different people. It depends on their accent. British people, you hear a British accent. We had All Jay on the show last week. Some people think British people are pretentious right out the gate. And the reality is those guys were super nice, super down to earth, even considering their success that they have, And Southern people, unfortunately, there is often a stereotype that comes with Southern people with a Southern accent that right at the gate, they're going to be conservative people. They're going to be Bible thumpers. They're going to be all of these other things, maybe racist and fascist and all these things. And it's really cool to hear someone represent that accent in a different light, in a different way. And I think it's really important because it can help to break down that stereotype and help people remember, hey, you know what? It's not about the accent. Right. It's about the character.
Right.
It's about the person.
Yeah. That's where I sit. That's how I feel about it. And there are others, like
sure.
I hear a Southern accent. I just know there's good food around.
Yes.
Somebody's probably
there's a biscuit.
There's some fat
available.
There's some fat and some salt and some seasoning and probably some Old Bay.
Yeah.
And some Jane's Crazy mixed up salt. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. All right. Well, we have just enough time for maybe a couple of more songs. Before we wrap up the show here today, I always like to give credit where credit's due. Mark Perfetti, sound mixer Mark, our engineer on the show today and every day. Every time we get to be on the air, he's the reason why the show sounds any good at all. Thank you so much, Mark. Our board op is Micaiah Caldwell. We have camera ops today. Mr. Chandler Collada is our still photographer, and he's shooting some moving pictures today as well. Also, David Ragnon is our other camera person, and he's also the station's social media director. So thank you so much for everything you do, David. Here at the station, WMNF 88.5, we thank you for listening. This is Live Music Showcase. I'd love to hear another song. We might be able to sneak 2 songs out of you guys today. We'll see what happens.
Let's hear another one from Adam.
I love it.
Sure, yeah, I'll do one. Let's squeeze it in. Thank you again for having us on.
Couldn't be happier, man. You guys are great.
Excited to be doing this series. I'm just doing one of the weeks with Matt Woods, but every Tuesday at Hooch and Hive.
Every Tuesday
in Tampa.
Hooch and Hive through the month of March.
He's having a guest. They're all fantastic songwriters. They're sitting down. He's getting ready to recording this for a podcast. talking about this, the what song business, is that what we learned about last night?
Yeah.
Like the business of writing songs, like just putting things together, art, music, creativity. It's a fascinating show. I've seen 2 of them as an audience member, and you really do yourself a favor, come down, listen to them sing songs and talk about songs. It's really really pretty compelling stuff.
And now you've done 2 of them as a guest.
I mean, it's great. I love it.
This coming Tuesday is Miss Kaylee Baker.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So that's
Good
cool.
old Sunday honey.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do a song. Here we go.
Get that capo.
There we go.
There we go. Get that capo.
Get that capo
Get that capo figured out, right? Midnight hour is here. Do you believe in ghosts? 'Cause honey, if these walls could talk, they could tell us more than most. Tell me, how did we get here? Is the truth stranger than fiction? And tell me, what do you revere? Cross of Christ, the crucifixion. Are you a coward? Are you afraid? 'Cause even a coward can learn to be brave. I know I let you down. I know you needed more, but I could hold some ground, hiding out here on the floor. I didn't nail you down, so I didn't think twice. No, I never set it down then, just held steady, heavy spikes. I am a coward, I am afraid, but even a coward can learn to be brave. If I'm not a lion, am I the cage? I am a coward, but I can change. We always can change. We always can change.
WMNF Tampa.